Valtteri, it's James.
There's something loose between my legs.
What the f*** is this guy doing? I don't know.
Tripping major nutsack.
Come on! No more radio for the rest of the race.
Hello and welcome along, everyone, to the Reserve Drivers Podcast for another week. We did just miss the start there.
We anti-stalled.
It does happen in Austria. I'm Tim. He's Luke. This is the show that the critics are calling
Not exactly the most enjoyable.
Of course, we're live in Austria after the Austrian Grand Prix, and Lukey Boy, what a weekend it was.
Oh, that was the race we were waiting for.
There was no Paul Ricard, but it was pretty damn close, and we're going to celebrate it with our Guenther Steiners of beer. Cheers.
Cheers to the good.
We do have to address the elephant in the room. We are wearing the traditional lederhosen. We did lose a bet to Red Bull's Christian Horner. Well done to Max Verstappen. So much to talk about from the race. In fact, there's only one thing that you and I want to talk about. There's only one thing Paul di Resta wanted to talk about.
Crofty, if there's one thing I can't wait to see here, Simon Lazenby.
I can't wait to see Simon Lazenby.
He's always on my mind.
I mean, he's the one guy that I want to see out of the Austrian Grand Prix because he too lost a bet to Red Bull Racing's Christian Horner. He has to wear the lederhosen to the next Grand Prix. The Lazenby lederhosen. Simon Lederhosenby, as I'm going to start calling him now.
Tim, you might be calling him Simon Lederhosenby, but we all affectionately know him as... So yes, Lederhosenby lost the bet.
Well, a bet is a bet. I did promise to wear the lederhosen.
He did. He made the promise. But what I love about the Lederhosenby
is that saying the name?
Yes, I do like it. Is that he makes every situation work for him. And just listen to his little zinger that he throws in here.
My trousers very much under investigation at the same time.
Never misses a chance as a Lederhosenby.
That's a 5-place grid penalty, I know, for those trousers. Let's go to the race though, Lucky Boy. What a race it was. Well done, Max Verstappen. Terrific win, driving through the field. However, didn't get off to the best start.
Once again, what happened to Max Verstappen?
What happened to Max Verstappen, which is my favourite Dutch game show? What happened to Max Verstappen off the start line? Had a terrible start, had the anti-stall, as you mentioned at the start. In Max's defence, he's not used to the Red Bull starting system. He's been practising with Mercedes for the last few weeks, given the move for 2020.
You're calling it early, Tim, are you?
I'm calling it. That's a Guenther Steiner moment.
There'll be plenty of those.
The Gunt. It was a terrible start for Max, one of his worst opening laps, as Crofty was a little too keen to point out.
Max Verstappen has lost more positions on the first lap today than his previous 14 races combined.
He's lost more positions than his previous races combined. Crofty a little too eager for Max to suffer there.
You know what Crofty's favourite hotel search app is? Hotels combined.
and if there was ever a Guenther Steiner moment,
cheers.
He may have got a terrible start, but don't worry, he did manage to get a lift back to the grid. It's amazing he won from 7 laps behind. It was an incredible drive from Max. He missed the start. Not the only Red Bull guy to miss the start as well. I have it on very good authority that Pierre Gasly will be missing the start of the British Grand Prix and the subsequent Grand Prix. He's gone. I called that one early as well.
Could Red Bull make it any more obvious? They basically gave Verstappen the Batmobile, the Statmobile. I've actually got footage of how Pierre Gasly made his way around the track.
Whoa.
I mean, come on. Dr. Marco, I'm pretty sure his PhD is in being coy. Could they make it any less obvious?
They've sent him into orbit.
They put him 38,000 feet away. Tough week for Gasly. His race was compromised. He was stuck behind Kimi Raikkonen for a long, long time. And I'm talking a really long time.
Brake dust coming off the front right tyre of that Red Bull as he slams on the brakes into turn 4. He tries to go down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen at turn 4. Gasly returns the long way round once again. Can he get back out onto the track ahead of Kimi Raikkonen? No, he can't. Guess what? Gasly's finally got his man, Martin. It's taken him about 20 laps longer than he would have wanted.
What a race it was, though, Lukey boy. So much to talk about out of the Austrian Grand Prix, but you don't want to listen to Luke and I, despite the fact that you are listening to
You do. Let's
Luke
just
and I.
disclaim that. Please listen.
But the man that we want to hear from most of all is friend of the show, Nico Rosberg. Let's hear his detailed, analytical take on all the action in Austria.
Wow, what an awesome race. My goodness, so damn exciting. That's so cool.
Wow, so cool. What an awesome race.
What's a race? Wow.
That was Nico Rosberg live from a Bieber concert, I believe, reacting to the Austrian Grand Prix. And Nico, he cast his eyes over the whole weekend. He did not miss a beat.
And then behind there, to be honest, I can't even remember who came in behind there. I mean, Vettel, yeah. Whatever.
Whatever. In fairness to Nico, though, that was just one little, temporary stuff up. He was all across the action in Austria.
And you're saying Carlos Sainz best race? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't even know who came in there in the end. Maybe Carlos did a great race. Sorry, I completely missed it then.
What was he watching?
What race was he watching? In fairness, though, I think he was watching his vlogs instead of the race. But terrific analysis once again from Nico Rosberg. Whatever.
Tim, Max Verstappen won, but it wasn't without its controversies, which is usually the Max Verstappen way. And post-race, we found out that they were taking the win to the stewards.
Which seems to be a common place now on the F1 grid, is that any result that happens out on track, it goes straight to the stewards.
Yeah, and I think Bill Buxton put it beautifully when we all found out it was going to the FIA officials.
Just shoot me from the waist up.
Bullet to the head. Bullet to the head. I was not having it.
I mean, Will Buxton in shorts is a penalty for the viewers. It's like Lederhosen in the Lederhosen B. I mean, it is not a sight that we want to see. Have a lot of talk this weekend about the penalties.
Yes.
Are we doing too many penalties? Are the stewards having too much of an influence on the race? A lot of people not sure on the stewards' process because on the one hand, Vettel gets a penalty, win taken away from him. On the other hand, Verstappen is allowed to win the race. I have the official, in a reserve drivers exclusive, the official way that the stewards decide whether or not there should be a penalty. We've got some footage here.
Thumbs up if you think penalty. No, don't do that. Okay, forget about it. Who cares? Thumbs up if you think no penalty. Thumbs down if you think penalty. Let's go. Hit it, everybody. Thumbs up. No, what did I say? Thumbs up, no penalty. Thumbs down, penalty. Let's see some thumbs.
Let's see some thumbs, everybody.
Let's do it.
What about thumbs up for a Nico Rosberg vlog? Thumbs down for a Nico Rosberg vlog?
I reckon he's going to give himself a after that.
Whatever.
The decision divided the paddock.
Where do you stand?
Should it have been a penalty?
Or are you Dutch? Where do you stand? Where do you stand on the matter?
Well, Mattia Binotto, okay,
The
Ferrari's
team principal, the technical director
the
of
fearless
Ferrari.
leader. He was strong. People have questioned his leadership.
You had a go at him the last couple of weeks?
Yep, and he came out firing.
The regulation is causing a collision, forcing a car off track. I think both of the situation were there.
Strong words.
He's pulling no punches, Binotto.
No, but Brundle wasn't having any of it.
For me, it's motor racing. The stewards are not traffic wardens waiting for the meter to go 1 minute over before they put a ticket on. If you can't do that in Formula One, I'm with Max. Go home. We might as well all go home.
Ooh, so Brundle serves it right back to the team boss of Ferrari.
Wow, telling him to go home.
But if
Normally only Sebastian Vettel can get away with that.
But if I know my team boss, if I know my Binotto,
No one knows Binotto like you.
he's coming strong. He's going to defend his team, defend his driver, and stick up for the cause.
I agree with you. I think that we should leave them race and leave them battle.
Oh, Ferrari can't even get an appeal strategy right.
Binotto's gone to opinion B there. I mean, in the space of a sentence, he's totally flipped his stance.
That was his chance. Look, Tim, it was another race where Ferrari were left without the answers. Leclerc,
Well, they had the answers, but they changed them halfway through like Binotto did.
and they just don't know what's going on. But Tim, I have come up with some footage, some overwhelming evidence.
Wow. Is it the Skypad?
It's not the Skypad, surprisingly. This explains why Leclerc fell unlucky yet again.
We're on lap 17 of 71. It's looking pretty good, isn't it, for Charles Leclerc at the moment?
Oh,
what are you
Crofty.
doing?
It's the commentator's curse yet again.
The Crofty commentary curse. He's done it again.
Yeah, now don't you dare go mentioning Bahrain.
It's like Bahrain all over again. He just looks so composed and in control. I hope from here on in that we don't get a repeat.
Well, we did get a repeat because I don't know if you can remember back in Bahrain, the Leclerc curse. This was Crofty in Bahrain.
The gap between Leclerc and Hamilton is 10 seconds. I don't want to put any curses on anybody, but with 15 laps to go, this is looking utterly beautiful for Charles Leclerc.
Oh, that's painful to watch.
He literally put a curse on him.
Can we drink our sorrows
Let's
away to that?
Commemorate to Charles.
To Charles. Look, the commentator's curse is something we definitely didn't want to hear, but there was something that was bring joy to F1 fans around the world.
Is it Rosberg's vlogs?
It's even better.
Mercedes just didn't have the pace.
Hey! Mercedes didn't have the pace.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, that is great. That's your new ringtone, isn't it?
I could listen to that all day long. In fact, let's hear it again.
Mercedes just didn't have the pace.
One more time.
Mercedes just didn't have the pace.
Oh, Tim, that was poetry.
It was music to my ears.
You know what? And it was echoed by everybody, and some people didn't even need words. Oh, yeah. Kimi giving the finger to a Mercedes.
A picture tells 1,000 words, and Kimi's index finger tells 1,000 more.
And Kimi's never spoken 1,000 words, so that's great.
Tough weekend for Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel had a difficult race, had a difficult qualifying. Qualifying had some troubles with the car. This time it was the car that couldn't cope with pressure. Had a pneumatic pressure issue, forced him out of Q3. Interestingly, though, because of the rules, you do have to start the race on the tyres that you qualified on. So Sebastian had to start the race with no tyres. He had to start the race on the nose before he went to the yeses halfway through the race. It was a difficult opening stint.
So what you're telling me is that Sebastian started the races on the thumbs up and then he went to the thumbs down. Is that right?
Or is it thumbs down, thumbs up? Whatever.
Tough for Seb, but good for Charles.
Qualified P1, pole position in Austria.
And there was something that caught my eye at the post-quali press conference. Max Verstappen had his Red Bull energy drink. Lewis Hamilton had his Monster energy
Well, it seems
drink.
like every car, every driver has an energy drink sponsor, and they all bring it out in these press conferences.
Including Charles.
People always making up stuff.
Orange juice.
Ferrari energy drink is orange juice.
And it is guaranteed. We've got some here. Let's just have
Got
a
a bit
sip
of Ferrari
this.
energy drink.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mmm.
That's an orange that can't cope with the pressure of juicing.
That's an orange that thinks it's been ripped off. The oranges have been squeezed off a bit too
No, I'm
aggressively.
going to have another drink.
Okay.
No squeezing there. They've decided no squeezing. But there were reasons to smile for Sebastian over the weekend because he turned 32. He celebrated his birthday.
Hey, Tanti Auguri.
Which means can't cope with pneumatic pressure, I believe, in Italian. It was a great weekend for Sebastian Vettel, and a lot of his fellow Ferrari peers wishing him Tanti Auguri.
Dalla Galleria del Vento, Aguri Seb!
Aguri Seb!
Aguri Seb! Sebastian!
Auguri, the Italian word for retire. Retire, Seb, retire. That was a wonderful messages from the Ferrari crew, except for this guy who slightly creeped me out.
Happy birthday, Sebastian.
Who is that guy?
Oh, Sebastian, happy birthday.
However, that wasn't the scariest birthday message that Sebastian got. This one, positively terrifying.
Lieber Sebastian, wir wünschen dir alles Gute zu deinem Geburtstag. Liebe Grüße. Yay.
Yay! Thumbs up for Binotto, thumbs down for Binotto.
Tim, Ferrari have an obsession with swapping. They're swapping sentences, they're swapping words, their drivers, their strategies.
In fairness, though, that was plan B. That was plan B on the birthday message. Ferrari, I mean, things are looking on the up for the Scuderia with those two in charge.
Tim, it's great to hear the Italian accent.
Try doing a podcast with one. It grinds your gears after 11 weeks.
But that's what got me into the sport, and it's also inspired a brand new segment at the show, Voices of F1.
Voices of F1.
Voices of F1, because we've got some great voices in F1. We've got the Gunt, who we've touched on, Austrian Italian. We don't know where he's from.
I try not to touch on the Gunt.
Don't you?
At this time slot.
I touch on the Gunt. With Kimi, Charles, beautiful voices, and I've unearthed another one.
Hi everybody, my name is Domiziano Facchinetti.
Now, I'm not sure we can even say Dominic Facchinetti.
Can we say fucking Eddie at this time slot?
I don't know, but he's a fucking Eddie champion, that guy. He's an absolute fucking Eddie superstar. And he really is, because he's the chief F1 mechanic for Toro Rosso. And he has an amazing accent. Listen to him just explain the stuff they've got in the garage.
Hi everybody, my name is Domiziano Facchinetti. We have the Engineer Island, we have Honda, we have the lights, we have the umbilical, we have the cable to connect the blankets. See you next time.
We have a microphone, we have the pen, we have the cord, the Honda, we have...
Was that a pre-race video or an eBay ad? What is he talking about?
I don't know, but Toro Rosso have a fucking Eddie lot of stuff. They've got a lot of...
And it's all clear to go. Everything must go down at Toro Rosso. Tough weekend for Toro Rosso.
They had a rough qualifying.
They had a horrible video. And tough weekend for Danny Kvyat, who almost ploughed into the back of George Russell. But in true Kvyat style, he handled it calmly.
What the f*** was that? I almost killed someone.
And when Danny Kvyat says he almost killed someone, that's when you know you're almost dead.
Well, F1 have beeped that out, but we've got the uncensored audio.
What the
Facchinetti
was that?
Which was my reaction after that video as well. What the Facchinetti was that?
Let's talk Williams, shall we?
Do we have to?
Yeah, we should.
Because I'm a bit Nico Rosberg about them. Yeah, whatever.
Things are starting to improve.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
There is, ever so slowly, as George Russell explains.
Like I said, Rome isn't built in a day.
And he's right, Rome wasn't built in a day.
In fact, my recollection is that Rome was built over 3 days. They missed the first 2 days of building. They came in on the 3rd.
The Williams hasn't been built since 96, let's face it.
Of course, everyone wants to know how the building is going down there at Williams, although Will Buxton quite literally wants to know how the building is going down there at Williams with one of the most bizarre questions in the pre-paddock pass.
You can look at them and say, don't focus on the kitchen, but I need a bigger study.
Pretty much like that. So we got the study, so now we just need the kitchen.
They got the study, they got the kitchen.
It's not much of an Airbnb, is it? When you rock up, there's no stove, no oven, no dishwasher. There's a study.
Some downforce would be nice, I think, wouldn't you reckon? But look, the study, the kitchen, it's starting to pay off.
And look, there's George Russell trying to make a move on Romain Grosjean at turn 3 as well. The Williams getting very competitive.
The Williams was competitive.
Hey! I'll drink to that.
And just listen to how excited George Russell is about that.
Managed to do Robert and Danny Kvyat at once, which was surprising and nice.
I think Georgie boy got more than his elbows out.
Was that in the kitchen or the study?
Now, I know Williams are looking for a happy ending, but that's a bit different. Go on, Georgie.
That is a Guenther Steiner moment if ever I've heard one. Well done, George Russell, Kvyat, and Robert Kubica. But for Kubica, it was a happy ending and then an illegal ending.
That's funny because most of my happy endings are illegal.
Kubica was voted driver of the day.
That was awesome.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
and not hard to see why.
Kubica, who's sadly for him running last.
But we were shocked, saddened, and fair to say outraged when that win was taken away from him. I mean, the fans voted for it.
They're killing the driver of the day.
I mean, the driver of the day is dead. I mean, if we cannot get the driver of the day right, then why bother going racing?
We might as well go home.
For me, Kubica was a clear driver of the day. There was nothing wrong with the original votes. People said there was online tampering. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing unusual about it. I've got the votes here.
Okay.
These are the votes for driver
please, let
of
us
the
know.
day. Here they go. Robert Kubica came first. Easy. Well done.
Understandable.
Pasta Maldonado was in second. Well done, Pasta.
Okay, Pasta.
He did a great job.
Yep.
Heikki Kovalainen in third.
Oh, the covers.
I mean, he had a great race.
Covers.
Covers had a great race.
The lino.
10 years ago.
It's getting from bad to worse for Kubica. He's not getting a lot of love. So there's Charles giving autographs, and then, there's Robbie. There's Bobby. Here he goes. Goes to get some autographs, and no!
Oh, snubbed on the autographs.
Snubbed on the autographs. Look, Tim, you might have noticed in the background next to Charles Leclerc was Alex Albon.
Or to use his official title.
Alex Albon.
I think I've worked out why those paddock pass videos are 40 minutes long. What is he doing? What is Will Buxton doing? What is he doing?
Hey, have you had a couple too many Steiners? I reckon he's had a couple too many Steiners.
I think I'm going to need a Stein down in a minute. In fairness to F1's digital analyst, Will Buxton, he is always all across the details and information. It's not just silly little games out there. He is the man first with the facts.
Haas qualified 5th for the Austrian Grand Prix under Kevin Magnussen. They finished... I did have it and I've forgotten. I think it's 15th and 19th, which seems batty, but it's 16th and 19th.
What is he on? What is he doing?
The best thing about that is that the cameraman zoomed in just to really intensify it.
In fairness to Buxton, though, he doesn't have access to all the information during the race.
You know, he lost those couple of positions on the last lap. I thought it was down to tyres because I don't actually have ears during the race.
He doesn't have ears during the race.
Call the authorities.
I mean, I know our viewers at home sometimes wish they didn't have ears during the podcast, but what is Buxton? I mean, that is Nico Rosberg levels of paying attention.
Yeah, look, this is all in jest, by the way, because we love Buxton.
Do we?
Yeah, yes.
No, friend of the show, friend of the show.
Big friend of the show. We love Will Buxton, and I reckon he's going to need all the friends he can get because he's made enemies with a powerful mob.
Dutchy nutters.
Don't go against the Dutchies.
We've got no problems with the Dutchy nutters. In fact, we've got a couple of Dutchy nutters watching our podcast. They watch every week, but particularly in Austria. They come down in their droves. They love the Reserve Drivers Austrian podcast.
Quick shout out to Racing Point. We should
again. Do we have to?
Our reaction when we mention Racing Point shouldn't be to laugh.
It's a blank face.
Anyways, they're struggling. They're not. It's just not working out for them. And I reckon I've worked out why. Listen to Checo Perez, talk about what they're bringing to each race weekend.
I think we're trying to figure out bits and bits.
You need pieces. You need bits and pieces. Not just the bits and bits, Checo. So they've got bits and bits, but they've got no pieces. That's their problem.
No pieces.
Yeah, that and they're haunted by the ghost of Vijay Mallya.
Who's in a bit of trouble, legally speaking. Shout out to Vijay Mallya, friend of the show, to Mallya. We've had a laugh about Rosberg, we've had a laugh about Buxton, but there's one man and one man only who's all across all the on-track action, down in Austria, Karun Shandor. Let's go down to Karun now.
Karun, down to you.
I didn't expect you to be coming down to me, Crofty.
Apologies.
What are you there for, Karun?
No.
You're there so that Crofty can come down to you.
I mean, you stabbed Ted in the back and now you're not even ready.
To be fair, so he doesn't have ears during the race. So, fairness to Karun. However, when Karun did manage to get ears during the race, he did bring his trademark brand of insight and analysis.
Right, let's head down to Karun.
Yeah, just looking at this race here, guys.
That's what you're there to do. Of course you're looking at the race. Tell us what's happening in the race. Don't just look at the race.
Another man in fine form was Martin Brundle. Him and Crofty were quite the duo. And Martin Brundle makes a point about Lewis Hamilton struggling with his downforce.
My point here is that a cracked front wing, that's why we can't see it, but that's why Lewis Hamilton will certainly feel it, the amount of downforce those front and rear wings are generating.
Pretty clear.
He's struggling with his downforce.
Yeah, and Crofty completely understood.
You're saying that if Lewis Hamilton with a cracked front wing tried to drive across the ceiling, he'd make a rather large dent in the sofa because he probably wouldn't manage it.
No. He's not saying if Lewis Hamilton drove in a ceiling, he'd make a dent in a sofa. That's not what he's saying. That's explicitly not what he's saying.
In fairness to Crofty, he didn't have ears during that commentary.
He didn't have ears, but he was banging on about that ceiling.
Someone said to you, Martin Brundle, would you like to drive a Formula One car on a ceiling and upside down, given that the laws of physics says it's possible? Would you say yes?
The big questions. The hard-hitting questions from Crofty.
But Crofty was in fine form, as we've heard, and that means it's time, once again, for another instalment of Ignore Crofty. This is the segment where we highlight those examples of Crofty's commentary that go totally ignored by his co-commentators. Another entry this week from Martin Brundle.
It's almost like asking a goat to remain within jabbing distance of a T-Rex, that, isn't it? You know, just let him have the possibility of overtaking you there, but make sure he doesn't, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The new fastest lap for Verstappen now.
He's just totally moving. What is Crofty talking about? He's driving on the ceilings, goats and T-Rexes.
Surprise, Martin wants to move on from the goat and T-Rex comment.
From one segment to another, it's time for the return, by popular demand, of did anyone actually notice Giovinazzi? And this week we did notice Giovinazzi. He scored a point.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That deserves a gunt.
Does it ever?
Great result, and it deserved a great celebration. And most teams, after a great weekend, they have a couple of drinks, they have a party, Red Bull dive in the pool. Alfa Romeo Racing have a slightly different tradition. What is going on there? Fred Vasseur chasing him down. I mean, to be fair, Fred Vasseur had DRS. I mean, that's how he was able to chase him down so quickly.
I always knew that Alpha had pace. I always knew it.
Cutting off a lock of Giovinazzi's hair.
That's intense.
I mean, God forbid if he ever wins the championship.
Cut his head off.
I mean, he's going to look like this. I mean, Giovinazzi, he's not going to want to win any more races at all. If he's not careful, he could end up one day looking like this. I mean, that's Giovinazzi in a year. That's Giovinazzi in one more season, especially if Ferrari keep upgrading their engine.
So just to be clear, the Alfa Romeo hospitality had the team boss chasing a driver with scissors.
I mean, it's such bizarre vision, and it gets even weirder when you hear the official audio. It was a great race, Lucky Boy. Enjoyable viewing. Loved watching every second of it, as I do watching my brand new favourite Netflix show.
Oh.
Inspired by Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Okay.
This week, Charles Leclerc took Tom Clarkson for a drive from Monaco to France in a brand new show called Charles Leclerc and Lecar Getting Lecoffee, which is a terrific show. It is coming soon to Netflix, and we have an exclusive sneak peek.
You're a whistler, aren't you?
Yeah.
What a show! What a show!
Groundbreaking.
Bravo. Charles Leclerc and Lecar Getting Lecoffee. We've got to jump out of here, Lucky Boy.
Cheers.
What a podcast. Let us know in the comments below. Is it a thumbs up for the podcast? Is it a thumbs down for the podcast?
Give us all the thumbs, baby.
And if Robert Kubica can get driver of the day, we can get the #1 podcast of the day. Head straight to iTunes, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Every bit of it helps. Leave us a comment in the comments below. At the Reserve Drivers on all your socials. reservedrivers.com for all the exclusive articles. So we will see you in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking Eddie hot. It's just Lederhosen right here.
We've got to return it to Simon Lederhosen beat. I'm off for a Frederick Vasseur haircut. What a podcast it's been. We've absolutely loved every moment of it, and there's only one way to sum up the podcast.
Whatever.
Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.